All right, whenever you're ready, get on your whatever it is. All right, so before the presentation, we were asked to introduce ourselves. So I'm Juan Pablo Ortiz, the CTO.
So I'm Luis, the CEO.
I'm Alejandro, the CBO. I'm Ricardo, the CFO.
I'm Jasmine, the COO. I'm Ria, the AI researcher.
We all are babies.
Okay, so dailies, our aim is to simplify your daily lives with ease. So as we understand that only 24 hours in a day, I don't think I would surprise anyone with that fact. But because precisely there's only 24 hours, we need to make the most out of it. Because time is limited, and knowing how to manage it, make it limitless. So yeah, we discovered that this was a pretty great challenge. More than 57% of our respondents had trouble with managing their daily tasks. And it's promised like heightened stress, reduced focus, missed deadline, and we found out it was just a vicious cycle. So who has this problem? It's gonna be young professional in high stress industry like consulting, finance, healthcare. What are they great pain for? There's gonna be stress management, time constraint, and they need productivity and mindful tools for their daily life. What are their motivation? It's gonna be improving work-life balance, enhance their productivity and efficiency, and access to wellness solution in their busy schedule.
The US workforce is composed of 168 million people. Of these 54% is either millennial or Gen Z, which comes around to 90.8 million people. These people spend on average around $60 per year on time management services, which would turn out to be a $5.4 billion business per year.
And this is where we come in. We're building an app that is going to retrieve data from your phone on your sleeping track, on your energy levels, and in the tasks you have in your calendars. And our algorithm is going to organize all those tasks according to your energy levels. So to give a quick example, if you have a very difficult task, the algorithm is going to put it at the same time that you have more energy, so you can do it better and easier. And with this, we're going to get and increase productivity in your daily life and improve well-being in your daily planning, and of course, a balanced life with just one app. You're wondering how this app looks like? First, you have your stress index dashboard. When you can see how are your stress levels during the day, then you can see your task management that our algo does its magic and does your day very easy. And of course, it helps you reduce everything in your life.
How we come up with this? Thanks to the people we interviewed. So what we saw is that people were asking for an app that gonna help us, that gonna help us sleep, gonna help them with their schedule, how they're feeling, and with less of all of the notification that you can have all the time.
Now, our revenue model will be composed of 5 tiers. The first two are very similar to apps like Spotify Premium, which gives you restricted access to all of our stuff. And then there's Premium, which gives you the whole spectrum. We plan to incorporate a B2B, which it would be give out bulk subscriptions to businesses and charge per employee, as well as give a special access to the HR departments to manage how all the employees are working, in-app purchases, experiences, workshops, courses, the whole thing, as well as ethically monetized data.
Then how are we going to go to market? So as we said, we're going to go for young professionals. So we're going to target high professional industry, people in the high stress industries in San Francisco. Then which channel are we going to use? So we're going to track for paid advertising, such as LinkedIn, Instagram, Google Ads. Then we're going to go to referral programs where you can share the app through your colleagues or friends, for example. We're going to go to content marketing and SEO with the research keywords from the domain we're searching for, we're working on. We're going to go through partnership and with B2B companies and with the influencer in the area and public relation with media outreach. Finally, we're going to go to the idea is going to create community on that app.
So how are we going to measure our impact and our success? Well, we defined 6 KPI for it. The first one is obviously the number of signups, downloads, and subscriptions we get. The engagement rate, that is how much people actually use the app and which are the features that they like the most. Then we're going to measure customer satisfaction and the Net Promoter Score via customer surveys, the app ratings, and reviews. And the last thing for our marketing strategy are the corporate and influencer partnerships we get and the press coverage.
Who's brand to our competitors? Some of them include to do with Headspace and Google Calendar. Our biggest differentiator is that we combine all of these godless tools into one seamless experience rather than having things being very disjoint as it is with all of these different apps. Moreover, things like apps like Headspace tend to do is specialize rather than generalize, and that's what we aim to do.
And going back to the team that is going to make this possible, we're surrounded by engineers, by designers, business, marketing. Okay, so we're going to make this dream come true. Thank you.
It's so sad. I love that.
Getting good thing. Well, today to have analysts, financial shoulders, that's really bad meal collections.
One quick question from me is I didn't really get a lot of why, you've identified burnout and overall mental stress and lack of productivity, part-time deal with time management. So just maybe can you help connect the dots as far as why this was the best solution to go down, right? Like when you ask how might we, how did this surface to include?
Okay, so a lot of people when interview, they say that they get more stressed because of the things they think they have to do, right? Like, for example, I have to do 10 homeworks and 3 jobs for tomorrow. But the problem is that they get stressed because they're not organized, right? So by organizing that and by linking that to the energy levels of a person, we can make the time management or the task management more productive for the individual.
You feel like mixing a Calm app with a Notion app and a Calendar Google app, mixing all of them together.
Also, a great part of the burnout is because they do activities like are really demanding when they are low in energy levels. So we want to like them to the exercising or a huge work when they have their energy at the top. That's like the main thing.
Yeah, I have a relevant question. So awesome presentation by one thing that was unclear to me a little bit. And like I understood the problem, but I didn't fully get the target demographic. Like in your conversations, are these non-professionals? Like what look like I have a difficult time picturing that staking would be like so obsessed with dominating that.
Well, yeah, it's mostly young professionals and students like us because we also had the problem. That's why it came up. And the interviews help to young professionals especially in tech.
Got that. Okay.
So one suggestion for this, yes, mostly deal with serious answers becomes probably unfair to judge this based on the lens of serious answers because I do think that how you define the problem set and how you find the solution need to be narrowed down by a factor of 100, right? Because you're talking about 5 different things, right? And I think if you look at how mobile apps are America versus other emerging markets, especially right, Asian market, Latin market, there tends to be some kind of a bifurcation where American apps tend to be far more focused on one single purpose, whereas in emerging markets like Asia, like Latin, they tend to be everything, right? So if your target market is in those regions, that's fine. If you want to try everything all at once and try to become this kind of monolithic thing. But if you're targeting the North American market, I encourage you to focus on one thing. And also, it wasn't completely clear to me what is the feedback that the user, the consumer, when if I on my phone, what is that feedback that I'm getting from the app? Outside of that, moving my stuff around on the calendar, right? Is there some kind of in Headspace, is probably giving me suggestions, teaching me how to meditate, right? On Google Calendar, it's help giving me alerts. Right? What is that thing that I'm getting from the app, so they can build more interaction and continue to display the algorithms to be back. Good. Thank you, Bill. Very good. Yes. Get to it.
Maybe great job. Not to mention that
Actually, it's a good attitude. Even if that's such good, wherever super tough, sometimes they actually
and it's come on to
lose a percent.
And you're right. This lab is all the problems. Well, yes, and make the home so that people can just look at the James. But this is one. That's not like this one. They get it. Wait, like no, it's fine. No, like it's a thing that. When you start, you obviously didn't play what situation. Like, right. Somebody or playing there. Just think that. Very flexible. And it's because of any edge help with this shit. Back on the right. Yeah, just feel free to interview for self open started. I also look to I figure like you've always been other speakers are able to people listen just for you sure that you want and suffer you hands I know listen right. This is the way to plan things so back to I did the same I feel like that's a replace there the red do there yes. So back to say and there's so sword shot today. Inclusion pretty much less. Yeah. A bunch of players. Sorry to this. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but she's covered.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. We're Mora, your just moral shopping assistant.
So what is Mora? At Mora, our mission is to create a more transparent marketplace where ethics are meeting everyday shopping choices, empowering users to shop more morally and drive meaningful change. Some things that Mora offers are ethical scores, real-time alerts, and making social responsibility simpler.
Here's our team. Let me tell you, we are the most environmental-friendly team that ever could be on this campus. We have a team of amazing data scientists, engineers, and even marketers to make this project work.
So what are some challenges when it comes to moral shopping? A lot of consumers face challenges that harm human rights, degrade environmental sustainability, and leave consumers in the dark. So human rights violations include exploitation of workers and meager wages and unsafe working conditions. Then there's things like the environmental impact, with 92 million tons of clothing being discarded annually in the fashion industry, and an overall lack of transparency when it comes to how our products that we buy are being produced.
Yeah, so essentially our platform is offered through an app as well as a web browser extension. When you make a purchase online, our platform goes live. It tells you the ethical score for the item you're buying. And if you have the premium version, it goes into insights on the ethical footprint as well.
Taking a closer look at the market for ethical goods, it's valued at around $294 billion with an estimated growth of $574 billion by 2030. Some key drivers in this market include overall consumer awareness and growing demand for more sustainable products, a demographic shift with Gen Zers and millennials wanting to buy more sustainable goods, and overall regulation and policy that is driving a lot of this ethical manufacturing.
And our solution is actually backed by research. We found that consumers have a hard time finding sustainable products. And when they finally find something they want to purchase, they don't know if they can track its sustainability. Overall, 76% of our interviewees actually said they would be more likely to make moral shopping and purchasing habits if it was just simple. So that's exactly what we're trying to do.
So our business essentially has two sides. First is our private consumer users who subscribe to our premium features using our monthly subscription. On the enterprise side, we'd be working with businesses to either get their ethical scores up, or if they're vetted and have approved products, can be featured on the app for browser extension. And then in terms of accessing these markets, one, for the private users, we tap into existing communities on Reddit forums and ethical shopper forums. On the online retailer side, we'd reach out to third-party retailers such as Amazon, Walmart to kind of feature certain products on there. And we'd reach out directly to CMOs, or if companies have an ethical group within their structure, we'd reach out to them to work to make their products have our ethical scores.
Okay, so now as to how we're going to be able to measure our social impact, there's a variety of metrics that we can use to see this. And some of them are here listed, and these are what we want to focus on. So the alert interaction frequency, the reduction in unethical purchases, time spent on ethical insights, and the worker benefit score. And so what these are, if you could go to the next slide, sorry. How we'd be able to measure these. So for example, the alert interactions, we can see how consumers are either clicking, hovering, or even just looking at these through our own tests. We can see time spent on ethical insights. So if they're showing interest and wanting to learn more about the supply chain management of big corporations and seeing how it could influence their decisions.
We can also see a reduction in unethical purchases. So if we see that companies are getting less products demanded, we know that our product is getting some sort of impact by convincing consumers to buy less from that company, right? And then we can also see on the worker benefit score, the side of the company, because our impact is also trying to help make these conditions better for workers, as well as reducing the ethical impacts. And last but not least, we did an incredibly deep analysis on our competitors. We only found 2 competitors that are really old and really not user-friendly. We also the only solution that is all-in-one. So basically, the user will be able to access every information they need on our phone extension, and that's what makes us different from other competition. Thank you, everyone, for your listening.
Gosh. Did I hear earlier you have a premium feature you pay for? Is that you expect users to pay for this? Yeah, so free users would only get the search product, and then premium users would get features. But like you make a purchase, it tells you this is your score and how your ethical score is being calculated, what goes into effect. And is there any other possible revenue streams you're considering? The other side is the enterprise side. So businesses would pay to either be featured, or if they have really low scores on other products, for example, they pay to bring us in and we help them bring their score up. And we'll be suggesting more sustainable products. If someone, is in like shopping cart has an unsustainable product, we'll say, hey, maybe check out this other product, and companies and other enterprises could pay us to push their products out if they were sustainable.
No real question it's with hot time, but I'd be curious since you did the surveys, right? Like if you had figured out a price point that people would be willing to pay, how many what's the percent of people willing to pay at what price point? Because that would have been that's a good extension of that kind of research.
Yeah, we didn't take a look into that yet, but definitely something we'll be doing going forward. Yeah, decided to do 2 incredible. If you have a features in that, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. You people use it. They come switch down.
Like cookies of that being.
Well, because you all understand that you French on you.
Hey, I guess it.
Don't you doing that? We'll see you.
Had a pretty school
Or in person, and that's it.
that's the best because I played it for the string on.
Yes, tell them about it.
They then
And then just like and tell them one thing, bro. And let's just start like pulling this thing. That's there. It's simple as that. Days and American dogs. That's the like investable to make this or this is functional. Feelings that I think really they help with moving sideways. So this was thing happens in Instagram. It's just because of that. Some developers need the solutions. This is the and then there's that.
Very nice.
I think I just need to do the size of these side of them, some in which still for that and scared to activate. Now we'll do that. And we'll sort of from you.
so busy them.
This is our company on NutriCare. I'm Simran, I'm Taylor,
I'm on the
Jason?
and Santiago will join us on video.
It's no idea.
So the problem statement that we are trying to address is UN Sustainable Goals Zero Hunger. 144 million children in the world, that's 1 in 5 children, suffer from stunting as a result of malnutrition. And shockingly, 3/4 of them come from Central and Southern Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa. This malnutrition leads to inequality, development delays, and poor academic support. There are existing food programs in these regions, but unfortunately, they tend to be carb heavy, not providing the necessary nutrients for these children to grow, survive, and thrive. So our company mission is to empower low-income families to combat malnutrition through AI-driven personalized nutrition kits tailored toward these children. And our proposition is to bridge the gap between food insecurity and child development.
So our solution is that we'll have this NutriCare hat analyze dietary need and recommend these nutrition supplements and also your packaging. So our key features including AI personalized recommendation and also ordering the nutrition kit and also like AI insights and progress tracking. And there are supported by the community and also like NGOs or government. Yeah. So our prototype will look like this, and the first is our login page. After you log in here, it's like let AI help you personalize page that you submit a form and deliver parent information and children's information, including like gender, height, age. We also like medical history and also like dietary information, etc. Then you see the homepage, which you see like sponsored, featured kits, and also the AI personalized kit that including all those. You see the details here that, for example, like the availability, calories, and ingredients and vitamins that you can add to your cart. And there's the account page that shows a little bit about the progress, goal completion, goal and keep track of the children's health.
Although there are existing aid programs that provide solutions for malnutrition, they are often unreliable and infrequent. In conducting our user interviews, the main challenges parents with children experiencing malnutrition face are the affordability and availability of quality food itself and the lack of education and of a balanced nutrition. To test NutriCare to our users' needs, we conduct a series of clinical, behavioral, and community-based assessments like community-level surveys, like parent and caregiver feedback, engage professionals to assess NutriCare's effectiveness from a professional standpoint, and user engagement and adherence rates to measure how consistently families use the NutriCare kit and follow the AI's recommendations. So our market size, there are currently 15 million in food insecure children in the U.S. that are under the age of 5, and approximately like $1,200 per year per student for nutrient-rich diets would come out to an $18 billion market. And then there are 9.3 million children who come from households that are under the federal poverty line. Using that same estimate of 1,200 would give us like a $11.2 billion business. So if we could capture at least 10% of that market, it's still a $1 billion. It's our competitors that we actually look at as collaborators would be something like HelloFresh. We like to develop these sort of personalized nutrition kits that are tailored to children that are culturally sensitive to their diets as well. And similarly, Meal Train, we intend to develop long-term sustainable solutions for these children that they can track throughout their life. And finally, impact metrics. We have 5 impact metrics here, but the 2 primary ones that we want to focus on are the percentage of users reporting a quality of improvement in life and the increase in dietary diversity score, because that's the main problem we were trying to target, the lack of nutrients, specific nutrients in their diet. For our go-to-market strategy, we have our teammate who will explain it on video.
Okay. Now we look at our police motivation. First, want to establish your media community. I think we can do that by partnering up within our community. We want to partner with healthcare NGOs to engage centers for missions to be at. For the first 30 days of our product, we want to partner with global pediatric players and aim to distribute our first batch of kits. It's imperative to have regular follow-ups and personalized self-metrics in order to retain our trust. By having a personalized and constantly changing and adaptable meal plan, the AI can go out for different children as just to their nutritional needs. For distribution, we want to leverage the local supply chain to ensure timely delivery of kits.
Yay. At the end of that presentation. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go first. This actually feedback, one feedback to under the logo number because I'm usually itself and we lost him.
To tell you,
You started with your visual statement first because I actually thought that you have to throughout the presentation, but it is because we had a very strong visual statement. you should like really try to start with that, but that's just the style preference. On the solution side itself, I have been in the AI space for like 10 plus years. So I do actually have a bias towards like asking why AI. And I think making it clear about like your user points at user pain points and like why AI would be the right solution. Like, is it going to be just more accurate? Is it going to be getting less effective? Like, why are we using AI? It wasn't super clear. Yeah, really, but that is it didn't really come through in the presentation itself. So that's something to dig into, especially like if you think about like teaching this to investors and you decide like we are doing AI solution, I think that would be the first question they have. But why? But we actually need AI.
Is that yeah, I had a similar question that it's if you're targeting market at Southeast Asian countries or children are starting at sub-Saharan Saharan African children, and the user interface is a mobile app, it seems to me that might be a slight mismatch in terms of the target market, because I imagine people with access to Wi-Fi and mobile apps, smartphones, are generally probably not the demographic. Right? So I would not focus on like doing AI or app for the sake of doing that, but focus on, okay, like how do we deliver these video kits? Right, there's a huge amount of logistics that go into that. And there's huge amount of, how do we design in the procession, right? It doesn't have to be AI driven, right? So obviously focus on the actual problem statement as to this. Focus too much on the UI itself. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And Joe.
Maybe more gaps to vision, but it is. Shows that they just task community well done.
Everything mentions.
But with this done, do which one? And don't forget, was try past sentence. Yes.
It was well, that's what you said.
Hi, we're Solar Bridge. We are empowering underserved communities with portable solar batteries in order to enhance lives, drive economic growth, and support education for both families and workers around the world. We're specifically targeting the UN sustainability goals. There's 4. I'm not going to go super deep into them, but they're targeted toward energy access.
Great. So let me introduce our team. So we are Mateo, Matias, Cara, and Luca, and myself, Almudena. And we come from very different backgrounds, from environmental economics, engineers, designers, and also computer scientists, and also from all around the world. And that's what makes us a unique team.
And we're trying to tackle a significant challenge. So over 170 million people don't have access to reliable energy in specific areas that we identified. And over 80% of the businesses in these areas close after sunset because they don't have access to electricity or energy to run their businesses. And over 200 million students can't study after there's no light because they don't have access to electricity again. And another user group we identified is medical providers, and they do struggle to go and help their communities to serve them because they don't have access to reliable energy. Yeah, looking at market opportunity. So according to a study done by the GOGLA, there is expected to be a global offered energy market of 2.5 billion by 2030. And then this market includes rural households, informal urban settlements, mobile health communities, and solar projects and lower-income communities.
Yeah, so for our actual product, as a portable solar energy system, we're looking at reliable energy that doesn't rely on the grid. We're looking at a flexible payment plan. Sometimes these families or groups do not pay everything in front. So we're looking at opportunities for that to do a pay-as-you-go flexible finance plan, as well as opportunities to pay in cash, as well as simple to use, easy operation, compact, affordable products that would also be easy to access maintenance as well as local technicians.
So we identified three main user groups for this product. Street vendors specifically, they can benefit by being able to operate their businesses into the evening hours, especially when the sun isn't out as long during the winter. Teachers allowing students to study after dark, and also healthcare workers having like a mini fridge or medicine. A lot of medical tools require electricity, so allowing them to be more mobile and access patients remotely. Once we deploy, we're going to collect data through surveys and also by monitoring our product live. And based on this feedback, make iterative improvements on our product in order to best serve each community that we later target.
Great. So I'm going to share with you our two main revenue streams and also some partnerships. So the first one would be loan sales, affordable loans for initial solar kits, as Kara mentioned before, and also some subscription plans for maintenance and support as well. And we plan to partner with several NGOs and microfinance institutions, as well with money collecting agencies for cash payments. And also we have two financing options. Number one, pay as you go with incremental payments that will be aligned with each family's income. And also the lease to own, which will allow users to buy the first solar kit, first lease them and then buy them potentially in the future.
Yeah, so we're planning 3 phases for our expansion. So the first phase, we're trying to target 50 to 100 groups just to see if the product works, what's their feedback, and establish like a proper feedback loop. For the second phase, we're trying to train some local technicians so that they can kind of take care of the product in their respective communities. And for the last phase, on a larger scale, we're trying to do some collaboration and partnerships with governments, NGOs, to make sure that we can reach more people by getting more finance and also more exposure.
Yeah, so we understand we have a competitive landscape here. There are definitely some other technologies out there that exist, including just stationary solar systems. But in some communities, they may be hard to access. You need permits to actually get people to put in, and they're large and often require pretty heavy batteries. Diesel generators and kerosene lamps both create toxic chemicals that respiratory diseases and could cause health issues. So our edge is compact, lightweight, and portable solution that was easier and easy for underserved fans.
Electrovision is global expansion targeting underserved communities around the world, made with durable materials and making sure that the community as a whole works with our product.
Yeah, our next steps here at Solar Bridge is to raise 4,000 funding for 1,000 units the next year, and we're looking for investors and partners to help us reach the goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess I'll kick you off. So, believe it or not, I used to work in West Africa and Solix. So, I'm curious. This is not the most. I mean, it's a good idea. It's not the most novel idea. Right? People have had rural place solar panels with some level of energy storage. What's the unlock that you think has sort of changed in the last 10 to 20 years? Or what has changed the last 5 years, we'll say, that makes this more viable or more easily spread or, has a shifted consumer behavior in some way?
I think our competitive edge is making something that's more cost efficient. So rather than like a large panel with a big battery, making something more compact, maybe a smaller panel, targeting people like a family that doesn't need a ton of electricity. So some small product that's really portable. Battery costs have plummeted, solar panel costs are falling. So really targeting that lower end market at a lower price.
You figured out the cost. I'm just curious, like what pay as you go, so on, and that assumes you can actually reclaim the panel if you need to. But where do you scope the system cost to be, whether it's for a independent business owner or a clinic, and then what would they have for a paying? Curious how you think about the math on that.
We're thinking it's approximate cost of $400 for the full setup, and we haven't looked super deep into the actual cost that we're charging. I think it depends more on the community. If they're able to pay more, and then we can offer that, or we can offer longer term financing. But that's something we have to investigate more. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick. I actually really like that you broke it down to different cases and you had an understanding of button and something like her versus long term. I think building on top of what he mentioned, if you have then incorporated that with these like very like on the ground signals of like this is exactly like this is how the cost looks like and this is exactly where the focus on sharpening the creative new straws or stronger. I really like that you had that like this needs to be well caught out in terms of like short-term versus the long-term strategy. Thank you.
And just
It's still hard. The conversation to me, that would be gone.
somebody said that's really
Just need to drain. Is
it's like you the worst some just push change. We shouldn't put it you're getting more so there's a lot of different so you're nothing to say like if someone put the spirit to just and like still this dog like because I'm a sort of age I guess can so as it falls what if they used to guys friends and change that you know I don't know drinks they it's like you know I still put to like that but we couldn't quite do that you know so what I say and can book it up in ages so we building an area to the land means the later but yeah, but with yeah, it's like with some understand just these views sure about recently I got to speak more for some of the person kind like the notes sector I just said they have promoting that she's purpose of the there you go just simplify like the thing how that good that's well the thing because it happens usually that's the question should need those answer the basic plan anyway so yeah that's just but supposed to but I see that photo is like two for this thing for it that basically then quickly put off you burst
Right? What you want, Daniel?
at a middle. I'm Taylor
Emily,
And this is OneStitch. We're bridging the gap of basically trying to use machine learning to help.
God sorry
But we're bridging homeless with machine learning. So let me start with a very interesting fact. California spends yearly $42,000 per homeless person. Yeah, you heard that correctly. And now imagine you go and ask a homeless person on Telegraph Avenues, how do they think that money goes back to them? And let me just say, they had a very good choice of words to the policymakers. So yeah, there is a huge, and when I mean huge, I mean like enormous lack of like and very inefficient use of money from the government to tackle homelessness, especially in California, where everybody knows it's a big issue. So the biggest thing about the homeless issue is that governments are not using data to tackle it. So our solution is to basically use the machine learning model, offering data-driven solutions to guide governments and NGOs to tackle this problem. This is a little bit of the market size over here. The federal government spends $10 billion per year to tackle this problem. California by itself spends $2.3 billion, and we expect the somehow like $3.4 million per year.
okay so what's our product our product is basically a data collection and data analysis system that gathers data in homeless shelters and food pantries and analyzes what factors get people into homelessness and which factors and resources help people come out of homelessness. And we use that data to empower high schools and government institutions to make their decisions. So for high schools, a sad fact is that high schools in low-income areas, such as Title I high schools, a portion of their students will go into homelessness. That's just a reality. And basically, what we want to do is we want to do a system that is similar to like fire prevention and fire drill threat. You don't want fire to happen, but if a fire does happen, you want to be ready and be able to come out of it quickly, right? So for homelessness, we want to equip high schools with the data necessary to prevent students from going into homelessness. But if it does happen, the students should have the necessary skills and all the resources they have to come out of homelessness. And for government institutions, governments are notoriously inefficient at investing in solving homelessness, right? So we want to equip governments with the data that they need to be able to tackle this problem and prevent people from going into homelessness, but also help people that are homeless come out of that problem. So our business model is charging an annual subscription to government agencies. In California, there are 683 homeless housing programs. If we boil that number down to 68 programs that fit our solution and have the greatest impact and reach, we expect $3.4 million in revenue per year. Our go-to-market strategy will start here locally. We'll partner with Alameda County Homeless Action Center to first test our product. With that finalized, tested, and scalable product, we'll target Los Angeles and the larger Bay Area where homelessness is a major challenge. Our sales and marketing strategy will be partnering with government programs like House Key and the HHAPP to expand our product and user network. In stage 1 of our growth timeline, we'll mainly focus on California. Then we'll expand them to major cities in the nation, and then after that, expand globally. To determine the success of our product, we'll be determining it off of 3 major impact metrics. First, the homelessness rates and shortening retention. Second, machine language, our machine language model accuracy. And third, cost savings for our partner organizations.
Alrighty. So the cool thing about our product that also fits with our business strategy is that it's an iterative enhancement model, meaning we're going to start locally, and as we expand, the more data we get, the more complex solutions we'll be able to come up with. So I wanted to show our GitHub repo.
That is, let's say, ask.
How do I?
Yeah, while you're.
Oh, so let's go. So we are starting with the data we already have available to us from the government, and they do one day out of the year in January. They do a count of 400 different counties' homeless rates. And since 2007, we have that data available to us from the government, and we also scraped the internet for other county-level data sets. And we built, so this is our baseline linear regression model using various features such as housing, economic, safety net, demographic, and climate variables, just to disentangle which features are really predicting homelessness. And this model, actually, we were able to come up with pretty good in R squared of around 0.9, or 0.8 to 0.9. We also were trying random forest, and that was pretty successful. And the next step for our team is we really would want to use neural networks as well. And that was actually crashing our computer just because it is like cross-sectional data from 400 counties for many years. But that would be like some next steps, and I get a better MacBook. So in conclusion, we realize we're never gonna have no homelessness, but we're not gonna let perfect be the enemy of good. So even though, like right now, it feels like we're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, we're throwing money to bureaucracies, but no complex solutions are getting done. But what we're doing is we're not a Band-Aid, we're focusing on OneStitch. So through data-driven solutions, tactical high school interventions, and learning from success stories, we can make a difference one stitch at a time. Thank you.
It has really one part. You can come into support and
I would love the storytelling. I love the scrappiness. I've loved seeing it and they took it how it used to be an AI engineers. That's sort of my jam. I think it was very clear how you would have spent your next 6 months to next year to I could get an idea of how would you spend your time. I think in a little more, if I was invested in this company, what I would be concerned about is the government piece and building that relationship and actually being able to partner with them. That's a really tough one. I would have loved to see a little bit more understanding of that and how to go about that. But that would really love to be answered.
Can I ask you guys a question? I mean, you guys probably see a bunch of pictures every day.
and you guys probably see like startups try to deal with like call this big government. How's like the usual approach that they do?
To partner with governments.
Yeah.
I mean, I can share a real work example. I worked at Uber when it was a startup, and now it's out. And so the speaking was a lot of phone calls, a lot of knocking on doors. Like, even if you have given me some examples of these are the 5 people we have talked to in the government, that's like a good start at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a comment around using machine learning. I would say one push that you was talk more about on stage, right? Like you spent a lot of time talking about monk, which I think it was very easy to get, right? What's this? Okay, big problem, lots of money, building inefficiency. Okay, go should been done in like 30 seconds. And when you're pitching anytime you're pitching any sort of AI machine learning based thought, whether it's to solve homelessness or it's to personalized shopping for ethical reasons, whatever, talk about the data. Don't ignore the data piece, right? So you don't talk about the algorithm though. Like, you need to go to linear regression. What is that data you collect, right? So I'm focused more on that. That's it. Thank you.
That's time. I mean, it's great. We do a quick break under 15 left order. The usual and then we'll come back. But this is all this. No, we'll take a 5-minute break. Yeah, but just like you're just get to nobody. So here's a
Yeah, I talked to him about so that's what so yeah, man.
that it says
No, implementation. But so basically, it's like for 10 minutes, fine. It's the last thing. But the reason not
what that's
without outside sure.
and stuff. I just feel collaborative. So I will collect your. I mean, just by the way, it's so good. Like, yeah, right to John. You so on what area is like really you want to scale for? Like, going. No, I need to. I need to. I mean, you and yourself say one. Sometimes like. You in and like so they it's like fair that it's like city office have this December, which is good, you know. Like I still ask so you should and like with yeah, see so much money going up there thing you can't touch like tears and like ship all this money starts they something new, right? It's great. Stuff like that. That's actually a good show. I really like push out. Learning those, I just like to so useful. I think I'm just to the face cash. I don't know how they could build credit scores and shit like in the real out. Yeah, great. I just got down. Here's the guy that's and it's like something them so bad. Help those idiots quick and level. I should get it out. I know, simple. I'm just testing it out. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like that. It's what that make this player. It's a bit of that. I know through this. It's very true that there's like the fear of it, but it's fine. So, face on how do I keep it? So, and like, then what's the odd, but by some just a hot question. There's the high school where then you're not. I don't know. Oh, you was. No, I'm gonna catch you there. What if like
Excessive strategy.
it's a record this right? I just I thought something about you. One of the famous debates is always at like two events.
Okay.
But this stuff, the other one is using the good also stuff. So they're only things doing the things are. Yeah, anybody else say coincidence there behind the stands after the year. Well, that's easier for me to 32. That's not like a true thing. I'm taking the element fault did it. Like a trees on the code. I said, like, you don't want to stay with I feel super high, super. That was super. They want me to stay here. Keep on in. Guys, this is what are you? So it's really cool.
Finally,
But doing volunteers like that, really have you just don't. It's like I don't know. You would have should have held your read. Put up the track of this.
no, I know.
Okay, there's a rule of filming. Like Thanksgiving, everyone did sample. They also like you know, why? Well, I'm not saying that they so, but they did.
Yeah, it's what is that morning? You know, I can still.
It's a concept. So,
I like take that always.
If my slide had factor showing that spending, and it's few so much somewhat like a shit. So I think Introduce Aria, who we did not get to introduce. So Aria is personal friend, an angel investor, entrepreneur, and product leader, and has so much diverse experience. I'll let you elaborate on any much that you think suits.
This is the quick intro. My name is Aria. I'm currently the product lead at NGOs. Work on a bunch of AI initiatives. I had my own AI startup in the past here in Silicon Valley, and I was an early product manager at Remora when it was a startup.
With that, we'll get started with the next group, who I'll hand this back to, and we'll take it from there. Let's just go on there. Global chip, but this is projecting the chip. Wait, okay, I'm still convinced. Look at it. No, okay, there. Go for it. Rose. Okay, we're good. Hello, everyone. We are RideSync Analytics. The team consists of Marvin, Arca, myself, Zaire, Nelson, and Yoli, and Nicole will be joining us by video. So our mission is to transform the commuter experience through strategic partnerships with kinds of companies in the industry and the government, and combining this with advanced predictive models. On top of this, our app, which we call TransLink, provides a seamless integration of public transit and last-mile transportation options for our users. And finally, we aim to redefine the future of commuting by making it more convenient, more accessible, and more enjoyable.
All right, so regarding the problem, just imagine this scenario. You're commuting or on a trip, and your bus arrives on time. But there's a 15-minute walk from the bus stop to the train station, or like the train platform, and this in the end causes you to miss the connection. So in this case, on this scenario, the first problem would be hard transfers between the inefficient last-mile solutions. So, for example, like e-bikes or like e-scooters are often like unavailable or like not very accessible, which makes it hard to like bridge this gap. And also the other problem would be like hard transfers between modes. So current navigation tools like Apple Maps or Google Maps are like fail to like effectively coordinate these real-time bus and train schedules. And therefore, as a result, of course, there's frustration. There are like, lower public transport adoption. Yeah.
So during phase 2, we have interviewed with some public transportation users, and we noticed that they say they feel unsafe at 7 o'clock in the night because the bus stop near their dormitory is pretty dark there. And then the bar just don't take me to a destination where I want to go. The destination coverage is very quite limited because of the dark. And another interviewee mentioned that he used the bus daily to avoid BART because being feeling unsafe and unclean. And based on the 2023 UC Berkeley annual commuter report, which is conducted by the Parking and Transportation by UC Berkeley, there's almost a quarter of the students use public transportation, including BART, AZ Transit, or other public transportation method to the campus.
So our solution is to reduce the dependencies on buses inherently, that is to eliminate transfers between multiple legs that are shared transit, and instead enable those transit goers to use personal transportation in a scalable way. That is, our intended approach is to take first-party data from BART and Caltrain because they are inherently a very data collective service where goers have to enter and exit every gate, every station, and put that into a predictive model. And then finally, use that predictive model to provide predictive analytics for last mile solution or last mile companies like Vio and Live, so that they can position their transit resources near these peak hours. Our business model is to, at first, on a company by company basis, for example, once for Line, once for Vio, provide a contracts on a fixed term that establishes a price for predictive analytics for a fixed period of time. Over time, as we mature, we expect this to transition into a commission-based model where, through our TransLink, we charge a percentage of the transit fees that Vio or Line book through our.
And so for our go-to-market strategy, like Nelson mentioned, first in phase one, we partner with transit agencies like BART, as well as mobility providers like Lime and Vio, scooters and bikes. And then this will allow us to gather real-time data and integrate seamless payment systems. Moving on to phase two, we'll develop an all-in-one app that utilizes AI predictive analytics, incorporating the data from these partners. And then phase three is a constrained launch here in Berkeley, targeting students and professionals alike with focused marketing on social media as well as throughout campus. And then lastly, phase four will focus on refining our app based on early user feedback to improve scheduling, route coordination, and overall efficiency.
So after the COVID pandemic, the BART's ridership has been relatively low. It's only 40% before the pandemic. So we expect a 5% increase in BART ridership for the first month. And then we expect 5,500 active users in the first month of our app has been launched. Finally, we estimate a monthly revenue of $240,000 per month.
And now we'll call to share the computer.
Spiders like Lyft, Vio, Line, Uber don't share analytics, which means each company has to spend time and money looking at this data to allocate transit resources such as bikes and scooters, but very different. We have first-party data, which is more accurate. We provide the service to help them outsource this predictive analytics and therefore undercut their internal operating costs. In other words, what we're doing is help them save money.
And this is our team, and she's built this. It's doing. And
Because of that,
First question, you got to take in seats, I think. But more seriously, I think this is actually a big scale. What I could see is several cases for this. I would call it an analytics company because I think what this will end up becoming, it's a trip planner, right? So think about seniors or mobility challenged people or even younger children who have to take public transportation or different modes of transportation, right? You can somehow pre-plan those trips and have some kind of an agent that over the top they can explode that automate sort of calling for you or calling or booking a line, right? That automatically plans your trip and pays for that. You can actually open up different revenue streams, right? And if you involve some type of social feature where families that actually monitor the trips by Uber does that right? You can actually show the progress. I think this dynamically be a really this way to happen. That has a lot of social identity.
very interesting you bring that up. We actually are considering in the phase two part, so after we make these data partnerships with all the companies, the government, we're intending to create this app, and this app will have some sort of integrated payment system where our revenue stream through the app would be a commission-based, like revenue from, let's say someone books, a Lyft or an Uber through the app. And so that is a very interesting way to take it.
I know in a company that.
So basically,
That's the time for comments for this one. Yeah. Thank you so much for that really insightful comment and great presentation.
thank you.
And we can visitors as well. And lots form of when they can visit these famous beer trace to get purposes. Can't she? So that's
look on the football, or they look on the statistical program. This thing or it's not, then set the right number. They're called the chin and 20 so it's 20 or 20 is the it's as well as the that's compared to nations. Actually, for me, I think I've been fun to get them on there. So, however, disappointed we're not involved because to the collider fact, there should be a that worked. We're in new class. But I didn't know, geez, to find out that if the program against good show and was kind of trying to get their lunch and so over the town sheet because of this man. That's a good show. It's just honest talks.
All right. I want you all to meet my friend Jade, someone I had the privilege of meeting. She's one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. She's a senior that currently attends a public high school with a lower income neighborhood. And she's excited. She's excited to go to college. A lot is happening with college application process. She has high ambition. She said she wants to go to Ivy League. I think she has what it takes. And ideally graduate, get a high income paying job and maybe even retire my parents. But there are some obstacles in the way. Unfortunately, because she goes to a very underfunded high school, there are no resources and no infrastructure to help students such as Jade to apply to college the right way, understand the process, understand which tests to take, how to study for that, and how to write a good essay. And also come to find out there are many AP classes that simply aren't offered to students such as Jade, simply because of where she grew up. And that's why we're here with Ed Equity, where we believe that you truly cannot have an equitable society without equality in education, by extension, equality in opportunity. And that's what our mission is. It's to eliminate and break the barriers, closing the gap of educational disparities, simply because of how schools are underfunded depending on the geographic location of that school, through accessible mentorship, guidance, and assistance for all students.
That is where our problem statement lies. Generally, students, usually from low-income areas in both urban and rural settings, tend to have limited access to high-quality educational resources and, more importantly, mentorship to get them where they want to go in terms of their life, career, etc.
So given that our how may we statement is how may we provide accessible, high-quality college preparation resources to low-income high school students, and that could help them to overcome any disadvantages and also help them to achieve their academic aspiration. So given that, our next step is looking at some of the competitor. We have two main competitors, Khan Academy, schoolhouse.org, or local tutors and school support services. For some of the pros that we can see from Khan Academy is they have a lot of high quality practice resources. They also have their OAI helper called Khan Legal, and they also have virtual group tutoring. But the con could be, let's say for schoolhouse.org, have short window of live support, and this requires strong and stable internet connection, which is one of the pain points of our user group. And the second competitor would be our local tutor. And the pros you can see is like they can individualize content to students, and but the cons could be like due to high cost and have to like rely on a physical space. So given that, we coming up with 3 solutions. The first is the community learning hub. We establishing local center equipped with like internet access, tutoring, and college prep tool in accessible location for the student. And the second thing would be having a tutor mentorship platform that can pair student with a mentor for like college prep to our platform. And the third thing would be having like an AI-driven teaching assistant that can personalize to each student.
Yeah, and in terms of what sets us apart, our approach is community first. We're going to start at a hyper-localized level, make sure that our initial set of students have that personalized support that they need. And that's why the support is integrated within all 3 of our tools to ensure that students have all of these wide array of resources in order to achieve their goals. And we want to have a relatively low or zero barrier access. So students shouldn't have the difficulty of not being able to study because they don't have internet, or they maybe don't have a safe place or a secure space where they can do their school course. So in terms of market size, there's approximately 13 million US students who attend schools which have significant disparities. And even if we can tackle a small portion of that, they can be a multi-million-dollar market.
Before we go into our last part of presentation, let me introduce our team. I am Sua, and I am from Korea, which education is extremely competitive. And this is Sean. This is Josh, and this is Aviad, and Piper is not here, but yeah. Our go-to-market strategy is increase retail. We're planning to start with the few school and gradually expand it to larger scale. In phase one, we will like to launch a pilot program with some 5 school or less. And after that, we can scale up to other schools and we can refine our AI assistant. And also we can partner with state education and additive so we can gain a lot of information and also provide a lot of people with our service. With A3, we can expand community hub, which mentor and student can communicate with others, and we can build up resource data.
Perfect. And we did have a like prototype and slide up the slate. It is not fully fleshed out, but we're up. Thank you.
We go ahead and take a look. That and Eastern.
Yeah, feel free to share it about some questions.
Yeah.
So in terms of our solution, the key thing we want to focus on is the mentorship aspect. So as you can see here, if a default user, we emphasize meetings, the ability to have contact with usually a person. Face of lack of personal access, we have because AI features. If that need is for quick term support for making a small task, or if they want to get help with fighting around financial aid, for example. We also will emphasize for community learning hubs, whether it be so far locations nearby that students can access the sort of the third place that are publicly accessible, as well as work with existing resources such as the Boys and Girls Club and other mentorship and local after school programs where students also can have that safe space to study. The main thing is going to be our curated feed, just because there is a vast amount of educational tools out there. And generally for students, a lot of that choice process might be a little difficult to come. So our tool will recommend well-vetted resources so that students can get the help they need.
Thank you. And I would have appreciated something like this if, and I was applying to school. I was not blessed with good counselors, but anyway. Yeah, I would be more curious, now as you work on this, or if you work on this, how it differs, one, culturally, two, like a rural area versus a low-income city community, and then three, how the mentorship part, like, that doesn't seem as, it seems like it's a significant factor, and potentially impactful, but I think that that can or is solved by other digital communities today. So my intuition is that there's some other factors that might be better to double down on as a core thing. That's my feeling.
I think that's just quite well taken. The reason why I think is a significant factor here is because we're not looking to produce a tutoring solution only, but it's supposed to really close the gaps. And for that to do that, you have to look at all the pillars that are establishing this disparity. And it's one thing to provide, let's say, an AI assistant that makes tutoring cheaper, but being able to have access to a study group or a mentor where you can seek guidance from is equally important. And that is why we're seeking also to go down the route of partnering up with nonprofits, and there are a lot of initiatives out there, and even companies that are open to supporting these type of initiatives by providing, let's say, people who are already successful, who are alumni at great universities and are willing to give a hand. Yeah.
Right, Cosm, that.
7.
Choice.
So there was, you had to experience that.
What I always say was, then look at it, run it back in there. I was going to say, hey,
The biggest true market would be like,
right? You look into the footmarks, pretty good. That's all. So the government share.
and totally Bernstein in the intelligence by when people were called this idiot.
And to be good, she is subtitled because of
Be in a country full of the so the concept that's good. You know,
show me again. That's the essence of number. Very person. That's the to the overload, but
It's one spirit. Use one with the
should it your
so nation section.
so really help Bradley.
Question. I think she's just that's the was good. Okay, and then give us some. Small. Perfect. Und das ja. The nuts split thing soon.
Yeah.
So delays is us. Right. But so like that little so on.
Yeah. The Latin of it.
Have you ever wanted a study by Lar to remember what you said, let's say it, and knows you from inside and out? Well, now you can with Simon, your personal AI study buddy. So we make building and retaining deep understanding easier and more accessible for university students. So here's our team. I'm Jocelyn, Dan, Emma, Marius, Nicholas, Deba, and Ryan. And we're
After that big bang.
Our user research was centered around the topic of learning in university. We interviewed more than 90 students, 80 of them for a trial edtech startup Nicholas and I founded, and then 12 for this course, and then one editorial. The three key insights we got were that students are overwhelmed with course material, struggle with motivation to study regularly, and quickly forget what they once learned.
Based on our user research, we found that the problem was that building and retaining a deep understanding of large amounts of new course materials is hard and time-consuming for students.
To solve this problem, we developed Simon, a speech-based AI tutor that helps you revise the right concepts at the right time. Simon is centered around memorization and understanding. To achieve this, the review of concepts is scheduled at increasing time intervals to ensure deep understanding, because you learn concepts, not isolated facts, and maximize retention. The increase in time intervals is called spaced repetition, and there's like extensive evidence to back this up. How does this now look like? It looks like when I open up Simon, it just like gives me the courses that I currently study, because it's tailored for my courses, my course materials integrated into Simon. And then it gives me the concepts that I have to learn today for a specific course. In this case, it might be bubble sort. So it's an entire concept. Now, when I like click this, it asks me.
So I'm gonna just like
It asks me to explain.
Bubble sort. I like this. Just all about questions.
Yeah. And now I can go ahead and actually explain bubble sort to it. So I can say, okay, how does bubble sort work? It works by always swapping two neighboring elements and sort of bubbling them up.
So the other teachers we integrate course material. We're likely to partner with university with course material. Otherwise, the students will likely to upload the course material for better results. And I don't want to mention how many students currently we have in the US or in Europe, and they are all struggling with the complex concept nowadays.
So our business model is a simple subscription. Every student can pay $10 a month and get Simon on his or her phone and laptop. And we are very confident. We promise you that you will get an A if you use it, Simon. Otherwise, you will get your money back. And how are we going to conquer the market? We're going to collaborate with professors. We're going to introduce and promote Simon to your classes. We're going to use the referral systems for students. And we're going to do social media marketing, of course. And we're going to start with focusing on STEM students in the United States. Now you might ask why? Because they have the biggest pain point in understanding complex issues. Now let's take a look at our competitive landscape. I do have a bunch of edtech startups. However, they're basically just different versions of flashcards or just providing you statements that you learn. And also, we have very common AI that doesn't really help you to gather knowledge long term and get you to really understand complex issues. And that's where we jumped in and created Simon. Simon will challenge you, Simon will talk to you, and Simon will be your study buddy. And we actually have a very cool demo, so please scan this link, check it out, and also sign up for a wait list and tell us what you think. Thank you very much.
So tell us, really showing you how to like it's really perfect.
But yes. Thank you.
Yeah, giving first, I think I really like this as a concept and as a product. I think there's like strong signals on why this would be successful. The problem that I see with this one is that there's already application out there that ChatGPT does with in some hacky way already. And so I really love, and it's big other competitors as well. I've seen a bunch of apps. So because you had such strong data on that why this matters, I would love for you to get specific niche and focus on that. Like if you would have said they're specifically going to area for XYZ or this is a specific niche, that would make me feel more comfortable in terms of engagement in the market because it is a competitive movement for this specific solution, especially like now.
So we're going to start, for example, here in Berkeley with computer science. And right now, the common AI doesn't really help students to really challenge their knowledge and to really get to the point. People are still overwhelmed with their course material. And we will collaborate with professors and we will get feedback from them. They will upload their course materials. So we'll be way more in-depth than general recommendation.
Yeah, and so to just follow up on that, if you can get that data and then show some data, like here's how people are already using it and how much they're using it and then what they like, what they don't like, that would be so much stronger.
Well, you do that on language models, or are you using some kind of a wrapper?
If we're going to use a wrapper, I think it doesn't really make sense to build a language model.
I assume that. I really like this too. I think what to really address Arya's problems, you need to think about the IT side of it. Right now, the context window of these large language models are expanding to tens of millions already. Right, so if you're using that model, okay, cool. Now, how do you deal with the IT? How does the professor build a syllabus custom? Right, so general large language models have this kind of last mile problem. Right. And you can be the last mile solution for that. So if you can work out some kind of a customization solution, integrated that with the syllabus, with the teaching systems that are like the content management system that, say, Berkeley is using, right, that actually is their viable route.
Yeah. Thank you. And also then later on, Simon will send the recommendations to professors where the students struggled and students can also get like test courses, etc. So this is first beginning, and then once you have more data, it will be like
that feedback is very important. So
just to complete out on this, like basically, you probably cannot imagine, or I personally cannot imagine a world where like in 2 years people still study like no this sort.
Finish your sentence. Yes.
And we have very strong networks with education right now, thanks to your prior experience.
Good job. So everybody, good 3. And we'll then do the sleep. We'll touch up down the final 2 looks with all the things that are out there. But yeah, add this and like the person and so and basically the end of the anger. Check voice.
Yes.
Yeah. Or 6 of so it's an anthem. Let us Turkish. Take it. Just things plus things. So wait. If I think you should just listen about.
All right, this is our team. I'll kick off the intros. I'm Chris. You have experience in organizational neuroscience.
And on the same day, I study marketing and communication. And James, I study economics. I'm taking studies economics and other background apply for it. I'm Eugene. I'm majoring in computer science. So today we're going to introduce our task management TaskTrack. So I believe many of you might have the experience that you plan to finish your task 1 week ahead of the deadline, but you ended up finishing everything like at the very last minute and feeling so stressful and unable to make it to the deadline. And Berkeley students feel so stressful because they have too many things to do. They aren't able to manage it and finish it with high efficiency. So at TaskTrack, our goal is to turn stress into success. So we came up with a solution to improve SDGs-3 good health and well-being by breaking down their tasks into small portions, and we offer personalized schedule, and we use AI-driven tasks to manage people's tasks. And nowadays, 74% of people feel overwhelmed by their a lot of tasks to do, and sometimes they aren't able to do it, and which leads to mental health. Yeah, that's the reason why many people have mental health issues. That is mainly because their inefficiency. So now by improving their management of tasks, we can solve the problem of mental health issues. Now the productivity software market has valued at $47.33 billion in 2023, and it has expected growth rate of 13.4% from 2024 to 2030. So that's how we can gain profit from this market demand.
So Gene discussed our problem. What's our solution? We want to relieve stress with smart task management. So I want to introduce our personalized task manager that generates a workflow that tailors both your schedule and your goals. One of the core components of our product is the daily stress assessment tool. This provides not only real-time feedback, but also learns from user habits to optimize your workflow day by day. And all this is to the benefit of increasing task efficiency as well as reducing wasted time, giving you back more time in your day.
Okay. So after we launch this product, it's really important to make sure that it's actually solving your students' pain points and their needs. So we wanted to adopt a 5-phase approach to this. As you can see, there's different ways that we're doing this bi-monthly. And the whole point of this is to make sure that our product is actually making them more efficient and less stressed. So we'd evaluate how their stress levels are before they use the product, throughout the use of the product, and then finally after they use the product for a set number of days, make sure there is an improvement, and then we will adjust based off of the results. So how do we expose our app to Berkeley students? First of all, we're going to set up booth and large campus events such as Go to Rare Orientation or UC Berkeley Caltopia. Secondly, we'll also create content related to career planning, managing work-life balance. We're going to post these concepts to LinkedIn and Medium. And the other two ways are partnering with external firms such as UC Berkeley Student University Health Service and Consulting Club. So we'll provide them with free PM access. And also, we're going to partnership with stores around campus. So students can get 10% off discount once they download our app. And at the end of the day, our impact matters the most. So we have 3 ways to evaluate our impact. First of all, is our users' stress reduced, and are their goal achieved, and also their monthly active users and the user retention rate. So for competitive landscape, analyze some apps like Student, City, Chilo, and My Satellite. They are very popular, but still need something that students really need. So we can see that all of this app has the basic task management function that TaskTrack stands out in several ways. The first one is AI task breakdown, which means you can input some the big project document, and we can use AI to break down into several subtasks. And we have AI-powered time allocation to smartly schedule your tasks. Most importantly, we combine their stress management and can replace most other apps just ignore the mental health problems students face when their busy schedule, but we adjust it think would be our app has changes, adjusts this problem with both productivity and well-being. So that's why we stand out in markets. That's all. Thank you.
So I know this is a bit similar to the first team that pitched. I would say if you go back 2 slides, yeah, this is more general questioning, but these features, we see these all the time as people who hear pitches for a daily, right, or for a living. But I always wonder, to what extent did you derive those features based on user feedback, right? That's really what the proper iteration cycle would be. So you discover that these are the problems of your target users, and then you say, okay, what are the things that you're really struggling with, or what could we build as an open-ended question to tackle some of these things? And then you would hope that they would then say, oh, we really wish we had something for our campus resource integration, right, or time allocation. So I think that would be the general feedback, that everyone that I would give is really try to derive that list of things that you would put in here based on what your users want or were asking for. I don't know if you did that, and it does just so well, it's top of my head.
But I mean, similar. I walked away from this feeling like that I listened to a research project or research report, heard a lot of statistics around how stressed out people are, which is kind of like describing reality is. I walked away with a giant question mark, like, how are you helping, right? Spend more time talking about the features, like what does AI power need in this game? Like, what are you using? What kind of data are you collecting? Are you using most, watches, smart devices to collect data? Like, what is the AI, right? Like, it's not a bad word you just throw and say, okay, cool, we're going to use AI to solve this problem, right? I think that's the key. So if you're doing a real pitch, right, spend less time describing the obvious, go direct into the product, right, and talk more about how the product is solving problems. Right? That's all the time we have. Thank you so much.
Wow, done. And last but not least, group number 5.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah.
The jealous,
Sure. Just so you introduce, my name is Lasse. I'm a main virtual systems engineer student. I'm Mora. I'm a mechanical engineering student. My name is computer in Tennessee. Economic just student here. And I'm Rafi. I'm a business student. And without problem to disclose it. That is. So. Yeah. In actually curtains, we're going to distribute it. It's not decent. So my guy. See it. That is out. So, okay, we're good. Okay, it's so good with them. And plus, it'll lead it like. And so, because hello, we are Remora, and we're building innovation to tackle plastic pollution. So, can you guess what this is? No idea? Well, this is a Pacific plastic garbage patch. It's 2 times the size of Texas. So you might say, Rafi, that's a lot of plastic, but I'm going to tell you, it's not. It's barely nothing compared to all the plastic at the bottom of the ocean. So we asked scientists, we asked earth experts, and they say 95% of microplastic are at the bottom of the oceans. That leads to 65 millions of tons. So what we did is that we took a bit of a deep dive into this problem, and we looked at our competitors. What we could see is that most of our competitors is focusing on surface solutions due to that it's cheap and that was easy to do. So what do? We need to find out why. Why are people only staying on the surface? Why aren't they going down? And we did the numbers, and what we could find out just to clean that Pacific garbage patch above the water
is $1.5 billion. And now let's go 18,000 feet down, and now we're going to do the same thing. It's just not profitable. You wouldn't be able to make any money from it, and you would be crazy to do this.
But we are.
It's
But we are the team who want to do it. Why? We are because we are super cross-scale, seeing a little bit crazy, but with one belief. We believe that we can choose our path and do differently. Our core values are innovate, care, and recycle. So, need the Remora filter. The filter attaches to existing deep sea rollers, and by using the fact that plastic is lighter than the sediment, it will only pump up the plastic to the surface. So we're collecting the plastic, a recycling company will weigh the plastic, and a UN partner will then certify the plastic, and we will receive plastic credit. So we get revenue from 2 parts, mainly hardware sales and maintenance, and then the second one are by selling the plastic product. The companies like Pepsi and Mora and Aramco are examples of companies that would buy this plastic credit because of regulation, clients, and brand image. We have the profit, but we also have a team. We also have the product, but we also have a business model. But the main problem is a fixed cost. Right? We don't know what we can do. How gets the solution? We can think differently. So the thing is, it's super expensive to go to the deep seas, and we don't have the means to it. So we're gonna do like the Remora fish. We're gonna take a shark to go where we want to go. What's our shark? It's the deep sea mining industry. The market size is between 8 to 16 trillion dollars on the bottom of the ocean. So we have the shark. These are the companies that are working on it. Billions are being invested in this field now. What we would get from this is we would just like outsource the entire the robot operations. We would outsource even the deep sea plastic collection because we will put the filters on the robot and they will collect the plastic. And we will outsource the deep sea operations department because to go to the deep sea, you have to pay for a license, and we'll outsource this also.
So our goal is to run a pilot project in the Clarion Clifton zone. This is a zone that is very close to the garbage patch, which means that we will find a lot of plastic here. We will do this initially. We will market ourselves that we're enabling deep sea mining companies to finally have a sustainable solution that is also within nature regulations. We'll improve their brand image, and we'll also give them a competitive edge against other companies doing this. We've estimated that the Clarion Clifton zone alone holds around $202 billion worth of plastic value with the current credit value. And our plan covers a 30-year goal. And our main number is at year 6, where we'll have 22 million kilograms of plastic gathered every year. And that's around 920 million Pepsi bottles, just to put it into perspective. So we've done some financials, and we will talk more with David Booth, our scientist. And we hope that in 30 years, 5,000 unique species that live on the Clarion Clifton zone will be free of plastics in their environment. So we're going to need $2.2 million to start this project up. And this is all to ensure that we're making a blue economy, because blue is the new green. And thank you.